Welcome! Today, we embark on an incredible journey into the religion of ancient Greece, one of the most fascinating and myth-rich worlds ever known. Why has this topic captivated people for thousands of years? It's all about the vividness and humanity of the Greek gods. These gods weren't cold, distant beings. They loved, quarreled, made mistakes, and sometimes even suffered. Yet they wielded divine power that let them control everything around the ancient Greeks, from seas and skies to war, love and art. Picture how this civilization lived. Every event in daily life, from a child's birth to a battle or a harvest, was tied to the gods. A storm at sea? That was Poseidon's wrath. A bountiful harvest? Thanks to Demeter. And if someone found luck in love, Aphrodite surely had a hand in it. The most intriguing part is the structure of their pantheon. At the center is Zeus, the supreme god who rules the world, commands lightning and sets laws. But even he's not all-powerful. His wife Hera constantly clashes with him over his many affairs. Athena, goddess of wisdom, offers sage advice, but only to those who earn it. Apollo, the embodiment of art and harmony, can be generous yet strict and just. Ares, the god of war, is chaos incarnate, sometimes terrifying even his fellow gods. What makes these gods so compelling? Their humanity. They live, love, envy, and compete. They're both above us and so like us. Through myths, the Greeks explained the world and showed that even the greatest beings have flaws. This lecture is a chance to dive into their world and see how their religion shaped lives and left its mark on art, literature, and our modern ideas of heroism and fate. Ready? Let's begin. The religion of ancient Greece was a vibrant world where gods didn't just watch over humans, but were part of daily life. Imagine a world where every event, every natural phenomenon, even routine actions, were linked to the god's will. A thunderstorm on the horizon? Zeus the thunderer was angry. Calm seas, Poseidon's favor. The Greeks lived in a world where the divine and human intertwined in vivid, dramatic tales. Their religion was polytheistic, meaning they worshipped many gods. For the Greeks, this was a natural way to explain the world's complexity. Each god governed a domain. Poseidon ruled the seas. Athena embodied wisdom and strategy. Aphrodite represented love and beauty. Together they formed an intricate system where every god had a role in the universe's harmony. These gods weren't abstract forces or unknowable entities. They looked human, thought human, felt human. That's their key trait. They could be mighty and grand, but also vulnerable and emotional, just like us. This is called anthropomorphism, depicting gods with human forms and traits. Imagine Zeus, the supreme god, seated on his throne with a lightning bolt in hand. He seems all-powerful, but look closer. He worries about his children, dodges his wife Hera's schemes, and sometimes tries to please mortals. His strength doesn't make him perfect. Or Hera, his spouse, who could weave intricate plots driven by jealousy, yet fiercely protected the sanctity of marriage. Aphrodite, goddess of love, could inspire great deeds for passion, but her whims could ruin lives. Even fearsome Hades, lord of the underworld, wasn't just cold and grim. His love for Persephone reveals tender human traits. These gods didn't just control nature. They shaped human values and actions. Every lightning strike, every harvest, every victory or defeat was tied to their will. But the most captivating part? Their stories, myths weaving a complex web of fates. Take the myth of Demeter and Persephone, which explains the seasons. How did fire come to be? Why is there winter? When Hades abducted Persephone, Demeter, goddess of harvest, grieved so deeply that the earth froze in a wintry slumber. Prometheus, who stole fire from the gods for humans, was punished by Zeus, but his sacrifice became a symbol of the fight for knowledge and progress. These tales were rich with meaning and lessons. Through myths, Greeks explored the world's order, learned to value justice, beware pride, and understand love's power. Gods didn't demand blind devotion or absolute reverence. You could fear, respect, thank, or even resent them. A sailor might pray to Poseidon for calm waters, but curse him if a storm tore his sails. A farmer offered gifts to Demeter, but could feel wronged if drought ruined crops. Relations with gods were complex and personal, almost like human bonds. Religion was woven into life. People began days with prayers, dedicated festivals to gods, built temples, and offered sacrifices to gain favor. Even simple acts, raising a wine cup or breaking bread, could honor them. It was a world where the divine was inseparable from the earthly, where gods and humans coexisted, sometimes in harmony, sometimes in conflict. This depth and humanity made Greek religion so enthralling. It wasn't just about divine power, but the human soul, its weaknesses, fears, hopes. Greek gods weren't mere myth characters. They were alive, real, and their stories still inspire us today. Among all Greek gods and heroes, Zeus stands central. He's the supreme ruler of Olympus, lord of the skies and thunderer. But his path to power was far from easy, beginning in the depths of creation. To understand his story, we must go back to when neither gods, mortals, nor the world as we know it existed, just chaos. From chaos emerged Gaia, Mother Earth, the foundation of all. She birthed Uranus, father of the sky, and together they produced the first mighty beings, the Titans. Imagine Zeus, the supreme god, seated on his throne with a lightning bolt in hand. He seems all-powerful, but look closer. He worries about his children, dodges his wife Hera's schemes, and sometimes tries to please mortals. His strength doesn't make him perfect. Or Hera, his spouse, who could weave intricate plots driven by jealousy, yet fiercely protected the sanctity of marriage. Aphrodite, goddess of love, could inspire great deeds for passion, but her whims could ruin lives. Even fearsome Hades, lord of the underworld, wasn't just cold and grim. His love for Persephone reveals tender human traits. These gods didn't just control nature. They shaped human values and actions. Every lightning strike, every harvest, every victory or defeat was tied to their will. But the most captivating part? Their stories, myths weaving a complex web of fates. Take the myth of Demeter and Persephone, which explains the seasons. How did fire come to be? Why is there winter? When Hades abducted Persephone, Demeter, goddess of harvest, grieved so deeply that the earth froze in a wintry slumber. Prometheus, who stole fire from the gods for humans, was punished by Zeus, but his sacrifice became a symbol of the fight for knowledge and progress. These tales were rich with meaning and lessons. Through myths, Greeks explored the world's order, learned to value justice, beware pride, and understand love's power. Gods didn't demand blind devotion or absolute reverence. You could fear, respect, thank, or even resent them. A sailor might pray to Poseidon for calm waters, but curse him if a storm tore his sails. A farmer offered gifts to Demeter, but could feel wronged if drought ruined crops. Relations with gods were complex and personal, almost like human bonds. Religion was woven into life. People began days with prayers, dedicated festivals to gods, built temples, and offered sacrifices to gain favor. Even simple acts, raising a wine cup or breaking bread, could honor them. It was a world where the divine was inseparable from the earthly, where gods and humans coexisted, sometimes in harmony, sometimes in conflict. This depth and humanity made Greek religion so enthralling. It wasn't just about divine power, but the human soul, its weaknesses, fears, hopes. Greek gods weren't mere myth characters. They were alive, real, and their stories still inspire us today. Among all Greek gods and heroes, Zeus stands central. He's the supreme ruler of Olympus, lord of the skies and thunderer. But his path to power was far from easy, beginning in the depths of creation. To understand his story, we must go back to when neither gods, mortals, nor the world as we know it existed, just chaos. From chaos emerged Gaia, Mother Earth, the foundation of all. She birthed Uranus, father of the sky, and together they produced the first mighty beings, the Titans. The Titans were ancient deities of immense power, embodying nature's primal forces. Among them were mighty Oceanus, symbolizing vast waters, Tethys, mistress of springs and rivers, Hyperion, god of light, and Phoebe, goddess of radiance and prophecy. But one stood out, Cronus, the youngest son of Gaia and Uranus. Driven by ambition and urged by his mother, Cronus overthrew his father Uranus. It was the first betrayal to seize power, making Cronus king of the Titans. He seemed destined for greatness, but fate loomed. Before his fall, Uranus cursed Cronus, foretelling that he too would be toppled by his own son. Fearing this prophecy, Cronus devoured his children at birth. Each time his wife, the Titaness Rhea, bore a child, he swallowed it to prevent rebellion. Thus Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon were consumed. Cronus's rule appeared eternal. But Rhea, heartbroken, couldn't let her last child suffer the same fate. When Zeus was born, she tricked Cronus, giving him a stone wrapped in swaddling to swallow. She hid the real Zeus on Crete, where nymphs raised him in a secluded cave, and the goat Amalthea nursed him with milk. Zeus grew, loved and protected, knowing a great destiny awaited. He wasn't just a hidden child. He was the world's last hope. His birth marked the end of the Titans' era and the dawn of a new age of order. Justice and law. Even in hiding, Zeus showed traits that would define him: resolve, fairness and charisma. These, alongside his power, made him the undeniable leader of the future Olympians. Zeus's tale is one of miraculous survival, covert resistance, and waiting for the moment to restore balance. Above all, it's about hope's birth. With Zeus, the ancient world braced for change, for an order, flawed but new, that shaped gods and mortals alike. Picture a baby hidden in a cave on Crete's Mount Ida, shielded from Cronus's gaze. Nymphs Adrasteia and Ide cared for him like their own, while Amalthea's milk, said to imbue divine strength, nourished him. Her horn, legend says, became the cornucopia, symbol of abundance. His safety was fragile. The Curetes, sacred guards assigned by Rhea, clashed shields, danced, and shouted to drown Zeus's cries and fool Cronus. Nature itself seemed to aid him. Nymphs, spirits, even animals guarded his peace. As Zeus matured, he learned of his origins and the prophecy that he'd overthrow his father. To face the Titans, he needed unmatched power. He journeyed to Tartarus, where the Cyclopes, one-eyed giants, and master smiths were imprisoned. The Cyclopes, fearsome in appearance and strength, had been locked away by Uranus, and even Cronus, after deposing him, left them confined, wary of their might. These legendary smiths could forge weapons holding the universe's power. When Zeus freed them, they saw not just a liberator, but a leader worthy of their strength. In gratitude, they crafted his iconic weapon, the lightning bolt, embodying divine authority. Each strike was not mere destruction, but a display of supreme power. With this, Zeus became invincible. Yet Zeus was more than a ruler and warrior. He was a man unable to resist beauty, whether mortal women or youths. His passion sparked countless tales, each highlighting his strength, cunning and untamed nature. Take Ganymede, a youth so radiant that Zeus, as an eagle, snatched him with mighty talons and carried him to Olympus. There Ganymede became the god's cupbearer, serving nectar. To appease his father, Zeus gifted the king immortal horses, though this hardly quelled the gossip. Or consider Europa, daughter of a Phoenician king. As she strolled by the sea, a dazzling white bull with golden horns approached, Zeus in disguise. When she climbed onto his back, he whisked her across the waves to Crete, revealing his divine form. Their union bore children pivotal to Greek myths. Then there's Danae, locked in a bronze tower by her father, King Acrisius, to thwart a prophecy that her son would kill him. But Zeus, undeterred by walls, entered as golden rain, and from their union came Perseus, the hero who'd slay Medusa and free Andromeda. Most famous among Zeus's children is Hercules, born to mortal Alcmene. To woo her, Zeus took the form of her husband, Amphitryon. Hercules, despite Hera's hatred, became Greece's greatest hero, facing trials fueled by her wrath. Now let's turn to Hera, Zeus's loyal yet complex consort, goddess of marriage and family. Hera's story brims with passion, jealousy, strength, and a quest for justice, however harsh. She's not just Zeus's wife, she's a figure blending divine majesty with human emotion, making her myths gripping. Hera was revered as marriage's protector, symbolizing sacred bonds and fidelity. Her name evoked loyalty and family defense, and she brooked no threat to these values. Yet her own marriage to Zeus was a saga of love clashing with jealousy, a struggle to preserve family while demanding respect. Hera wed Zeus after he tricked her. As a shivering cuckoo seeking warmth, he won her pity. When she cradled him, he revealed his true form, proposing marriage. This sparked their turbulent union of love, passion, and endless trials. Though queen of the gods, Hera's marriage was rarely harmonious. Zeus's countless affairs wounded her pride and status. She never stood idly by, channeling her fury at both Zeus and his lovers. Her jealousy wasn't mere emotion. It was a force that could unleash chaos. Relentless in vengeance, Hera targeted anyone threatening her marriage, even innocent victims. Her wrath struck Zeus's lovers and their offspring alike. Take Leto, a titaness pregnant by Zeus. When Hera learned of it, she banned the earth from sheltering Leto for childbirth. Leto wandered in pain until finding Delos, a floating isle unbound by Hera's curse. There she bore Apollo and Artemis, future Olympian greats. This myth shows Hera's vengeful reach, but also resilience's power. Another victim was Io, a mortal Zeus loved. To hide her, he turned her into a cow. But Hera saw through it, claiming the cow as hers and setting Argus, a giant, to watch her. Zeus sent Hermes to free Io by slaying Argus, but Hera sent a gadfly to torment her until she reached Egypt. Regaining human form, Hera's fiercest vendetta was against Hercules, son of mortal Alcmene. Before his birth, Hera delayed Alcmene's labor to thwart him. When that failed, she sent snakes to kill the infant, but Hercules strangled them. Later, she drove him to madness, causing him to slay his family, leading to his 12 labors, trials she orchestrated. Now let's dive into Poseidon, god of seas, storms, and earthquakes, whose power coursed like the ocean itself. He could grant sailors calm waters or raise tempests to crush fleets. His trident symbolized absolute dominion over waters and depths. His temper matched his realm's volatility. His palace, deep in the sea, gleamed with pearls, coral, and gold. Yet calm surfaces hid storms. Poseidon was generous when honored, but devastating when angered. He ruled seas, quakes, even horses, said to spring from his trident strike. His laughter echoed over waves when pleased, but one trident blow turned tranquil seas into churning abysses, sinking ships as mortals begged for mercy. Poseidon was a god mortals approached with awe, for his wrath could raze cities. He clashed even with fellow gods. Famous myth pits him against Athena over a city's patronage. Both claimed the new city, and its people proposed a contest. The best gift would win. Poseidon struck a rock with his trident, creating a spring, but its water was salty, undrinkable. He also offered a horse, symbolizing strength, yet it didn't sway the people. Athena planted an olive tree, promising food, shade, and oil. The citizens chose her gift, naming the city Athens. Furious, Poseidon unleashed waves to flood it, but Athena held him at bay. This tale shows that even his might couldn't always outmatch wisdom. Another dramatic tale involves Medusa. Once a beautiful priestess of Athena, she caught Poseidon's eye. Enraptured, he seduced, or in some versions forced her in Athena's temple. Outraged, Athena punished Medusa, not Poseidon, turning her into a monster with snake hair whose gaze petrified. This myth reveals Poseidon's impulsiveness and disregard for consequences. Sparking a tragic chain ended only when Perseus slew Medusa. Poseidon's role in Homer's Odyssey is iconic. Odysseus angered him by blinding his son, the Cyclops Polyphemus. Swearing vengeance, Poseidon vowed Odysseus would never reach home until he atoned. He sent storms, wrecked ships, and cast him to hostile shores, facing monsters like Scylla and Charybdis. Even when other gods, including Zeus, softened, Poseidon remained unrelenting. Yet Odysseus's wit and resilience proved mortals could endure even a god's wrath. Poseidon was more than sea's lord. He embodied nature's power, volatility, and danger. His anger taught respect for the seas. His gifts offered hope. Sailors prayed to him for safe voyages, and his myths brim with storms, clashes, and vivid imagery, making him unforgettable. Now let's ascend to Olympus and meet Athena, goddess of wisdom and war, embodying reason and order. Athena wasn't just divine. She was an ideal of strength, intellect, and beauty. Clad in gleaming armor, her helmet shone, her spear seemed weightless, and her shield bore Medusa's head. Yet her thoughtful gaze and refined features suggested a philosopher, not just a warrior. She was mind over might. Her birth was a mythic spectacle, symbolizing her origin from intellect, not flesh. When her mother, Meti, goddess of wisdom, fell pregnant, Zeus feared a prophecy that her child would surpass him. Swallowing Metis to avert this, he didn't account for her cunning. Within him, Metis shaped Athena, crafting her as supreme intellect and strategist. One day, Zeus suffered blinding head pain, as if Olympus itself split. Hephaestus struck his skull with a hammer, and from the rift sprang Athena, fully armored with spear and shield, radiant as dawn. She didn't just emerge, she declared wisdom's union with strength. Athena didn't fight for battle's sake. As a strategist, mentor, and protector, she aided those seeking her guidance. Her role in heroes' fates made her revered. She favored Odysseus, calling him cleverest of mortals. During his sea wanderings, she guided him, offered counsel, and shielded him from Poseidon's fury, helping him survive Scylla and Charybdis and return home. Her aid wasn't unconditional. She respected those who thought for themselves. To Perseus, facing Medusa, she gave a mirrored shield, advising, "Look at her reflection, not her." This saved him, and he gifted Medusa's head to Athena, who affixed it to her shield, the Aegis, symbolizing invincibility and wisdom. Athena wasn't just a war goddess. She embodied creation and prosperity. Her olive tree, gifted to Athens, symbolized peace, fertility, and strength, showing wisdom builds, not destroys. Her constant companion, the owl, saw through darkness, representing insight. Even on Greek coins, Athena's owl signified wealth and protection. Athena was more than a deity. She was the ideal leader, wise, just strong yet not cruel. She sought no glory in battle, yet her presence awed foes. Her voice was calm but firm, her form majestic but approachable. Her tales lack senseless cruelty, only wisdom and lessons for gods and mortals. She remains a symbol that strength is not just arms, but intellect, conquering more than any army. Now let's plunge into passion, war, and chaos, the realm of Ares and Aphrodite. Their turbulent, contradictory union is among Greek mythology's most dramatic tales, symbolizing destruction versus creation, aggression versus beauty. Ares, god of war, was battle's fury, craving ruin and chaos, towering and muscular. His fiery hair matched his blazing gaze, chilling blood. Clad in bronze armor gleaming like sunset, he wielded a spear with pride. In contrast stood Aphrodite, radiant goddess of love, captivating hearts effortlessly. Her skin glowed like dawn's peach, hair flowed like sun rays, and eyes held love's depth. She was sensuality and harmony, soothing even raging warriors. Yet these opposites were bound. Their affair, a clash of elements, birthed something unique. It stayed secret until Hephaestus, Aphrodite's husband, used cunning to expose them. Hephaestus, god of smithing, was a master craftsman despite his limp. Suspecting infidelity, he forged an invisible, unbreakable metal net, setting it in Aphrodite's chambers where she met Ares. When their passion flared, the trap snapped shut, binding them. Hephaestus summoned the Olympians to witness their shame, but instead of scorn, the gods roared with laughter. Even Zeus smirked at the mighty Ares and radiant Aphrodite caught in such a fix. Ares' children, Phobos, fear, and Deimos, terror, embodied war's dread. Phobos, gaunt with burning eyes and a ghastly grimace, paralyzed warriors with doubt, making them flee. Deimos, less imposing but erratic, sowed panic, driving foes to madness. As Ares' constant shadows, they showed war's toll on mind and spirit, not just body. Ares was destruction, volatile, battle-hungry, boundless in rage. Aphrodite was harmony, halting wars with a glance. Their union balanced opposites, complementing despite conflict. Like storm and rainbow, thunder and silence, they showed love and war as two sides of life's coin. Their tale reminds us even gods err, yielding to passion, yet find beauty in chaos. After the stormy passions of Ares and Aphrodite, let's turn to a steadier yet equally compelling figure, Hephaestus, god of smithing, fire, and crafts. His story is one of resilience and talent, transforming hardship into greatness. Hephaestus, whose hands forged masterpieces, had a fate as tempered as the metal in his forge. Hephaestus's birth was unusual. In one myth, Hera bore him alone, jealous of Zeus birthing Athena solo. But despite his divine origin, he was born lame. Disgusting Hera. Unwilling to accept her flawed son, she cast him from Olympus. Fate, however, was kind. Nymphs Thetis and Eurynome caught him, raising him with care. Instead of dwelling on injustice, Hephaestus honed his craft. His forge, set under volcanoes, birthed mythology's greatest artifacts. Years later, he sought to reclaim his place among gods through genius. He crafted a stunning golden throne and sent it to Hera on Olympus. When she sat, its clever mechanism trapped her. No god could free her, so they summoned Hephaestus. He agreed to release her on one condition: a return to Olympus as a god. Zeus, awed by his skill, consented, and Hephaestus joined the pantheon. Hephaestus was no mere smith. He was a creator of marvels. His work shaped myths. His most famous, Achilles' armor forged for Thetis, Achilles' mother, after he lost his gear grieving Patroclus' death. The armor was art. Its shield depicted earth, sky, stars, and human life, blending war and peace. In it, Achilles shone divine, winning battles with its magic. Another key tale ties Hephaestus to Prometheus, who stole fire from mortals. Fire, light, warmth, progress was God's alone. Defiant, Prometheus took a spark from Hephaestus' forge, hiding it in a reed to gift humanity. Mortals gained warmth, food, and crafts. Furious, Zeus punished Prometheus, ordering Hephaestus to chain him to a rock, where an eagle tore his liver daily. Ironically, Hephaestus, once rejected, forged those bonds, turning weakness into strength. Despite his limp and scorn, Hephaestus proved his worth, crafting items that shaped gods' and mortals' fates. His story shows greatness stems not from looks but talent and grit. Each creation, armor, traps, chains, was a symbol of hope and harmony. His forge was where destiny was shaped. Now let's meet a dazzling Olympian pair, Apollo and Artemis, twins of Zeus and Leto, embodying light and shadow, art and nature, prophecy and hunt. Their roles balanced clarity and mystery. Apollo, god of sun, music, poetry, and prophecy, was Olympus's most harmonious figure. Picture a radiant youth, golden hair gleaming like dawn, eyes wise and bright. In a golden toga, he held a lyre for music or a bow for justice. Apollo's light didn't just warm, it could sear. As god of truth, his clarity cut deep. His tie to prophecy was profound. His Delphi temple on Parnassus's slopes was Greece's spiritual heart. People flocked to hear their fates. Legend says Apollo faced Python, a monstrous serpent at Delphi's sacred spring, symbolizing chaos. To claim the site, he slew Python with his bow, making the spring a place of foresight. There the Pythia, dazed by laurel fumes, spoke often cryptic but vital oracles. Apollo's music was divine. His lyre, a gift from Hermes, enchanted gods. When satyr Marsyas boasted his flute rivaled Apollo's skill, the god challenged him, demanding they play upside down. Marsyas failed, and Apollo flayed him, proving divine art's supremacy. His twin Artemis was his opposite, wild, free. Her hair flowed like moonlight, eyes starry and cool. In a hunter's tunic, she carried a silver bow, trailed by beasts as their guardian. Artemis vowed chastity, shunning romance. Her bond with nature made her a model for girls craving strength and freedom. A famous myth tells of her wrath against Niobe, who mocked Leto for having fewer children. Boasting her own brood, Niobe provoked the twins. Apollo killed her sons, Artemis her daughters, sparing one. Niobe, grieving, became a weeping rock, a lesson in mortal hubris. Apollo and Artemis embody opposites united. Light needs shadow, music needs silence. Apollo inspires clarity, art, harmony. Artemis guards nature's wild heart. Their tales teach life's balance, day and night, order and wilderness, crafting the world's harmony. Now let's explore a tender myth, Demeter and Persephone's tale, weaving nature's cycles, life and death. In ancient times, when Earth was young and gods walked with mortals, A mother and daughter's story shaped nature's rhythm. Demeter, goddess of fertility, was earth itself. Her wheat gold hair swayed, her hands gifted harvests. Fields bloomed, trees bore fruit, and mortals thanked her. Yet beneath her nurturing lay a storm's fury, unleashed if her daughter Persephone faced harm. Persephone, spring's goddess, rivaled flowers in beauty. She roamed meadows picking narcissus and roses, her laughter like bells, her steps waking nature. But beauty drew danger. From his underworld, Hades, lord of the dead, watched her. Zeus and Poseidon's brother, his grim realm and three-headed Cerberus made him feared. Yet even he felt love, longing to make Persephone his queen. One day, as Persephone plucked a radiant narcissus, the earth split. Hades, on a chariot with shadowy steeds, seized her, racing to his realm before she could scream. The meadow fell silent, flowers froze, and stillness reigned. When Demeter found her daughter gone, her heart shattered. She left Olympus searching. Her grief withered earth. Crops failed, trees shed leaves, rivers dried. She wandered until Helios, the sun god who sees all, revealed Hades took Persephone with Zeus's silent nod. Furious and betrayed, Demeter swore earth would stay barren until Persephone returned. Mortals starved, offerings to gods ceased. Threatening Olympus, Zeus intervened, sending Hermes to retrieve her. In the underworld, Hades, knowing he couldn't keep her by force, tricked Persephone into eating pomegranate seeds, binding her to his realm. Zeus ruled she'd split her time, part with Demeter, part with Hades. When Persephone returned, nature revived. Flowers bloomed, fields greened, heralding spring and summer. When she rejoined Hades, Demeter mourned and winter gripped earth. This myth isn't just about abduction. It's a poem of life, death, renewal. Demeter is earth grieving yet reborn. Persephone is seeds dying to bloom again. Hades shows darkness joins light. Death is life's cycle. It teaches after winter comes spring. Every end births a new start. Now let's meet gods of mischief and mirth, Hermes and Dionysus, tied to human joys, cunning, motion, and festivity. Hermes, son of Zeus and nymph Maia, was a master trickster. Born in a cave to hide from Hera's jealousy, he proved uncontainable. Picture a newborn slipping his swaddling for adventure. Spotting Apollo's sacred cows, he didn't admire, he stole them, making them walk backward to hide tracks. Masking his own with branches, furious Apollo found Hermes in Maia's cave, accusing him. Hermes smiled, playing a lyre he'd just invented from a tortoise shell. Its music charmed Apollo, who forgave him, trading the cows for the lyre. Thus Hermes became god of speed, trade, trickery, and guide of souls to Hades. Depicted with winged sandals and hat, holding a caduceus, a staff with snakes, he moved swiftly, aiding Zeus's errands. Mortals thanked him as patron of travelers, merchants, even thieves. Hermes mediated, resolving godly and mortal disputes with wit. He gave Perseus winged sandals to fight Medusa, and guided souls to the underworld. Dionysus, god of wine and revelry, embodied life's passion, wild, vibrant, chaotic. Son of Zeus and mortal Semele, his birth was tragic. Hera tricked Semele into seeing Zeus's divine form, incinerating her. Zeus saved the unborn Dionysus, sewing him into his thigh to grow. Young Dionysus loved nature and wine, teaching mortals to cultivate grapes, turning them into a drink beyond mere liquor, magic, stirring joy or raw emotion. Traveling, he spread viniculture, joined by satyrs, ecstatic maenads, and wild beasts. His festivals, Dionysia, were wild with dance, song, and theater. In Athens, Dionysia birthed tragedy and comedy, tying art to ritual. A grim tale involves Prometheus, king of Thebes, who banned Dionysus's rites as immoral. Enraged, Dionysus drove him mad, luring him to spy on Maenad rituals. Mistaking him for a beast, they tore him apart, a warning against denying passion. Hermes and Dionysus show Greek. Myths aren't just epic or tragic. They pulse with motion, joy, creativity, even madness, vital to feeling alive. Hermes teaches adaptability. Dionysus urges us to savor life's chaos. After these lively gods, let's revisit the Olympians' rise. The Titanomachy, a generational war where young gods toppled their Titan forebears, not just for power, but for a new cosmic order. As Zeus matured, learning his destiny, he resolved to free his siblings. With Rhea's aid, he tricked Cronus into vomiting them up. Freed Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon joined Zeus, sparking the Titanomachy, a decade-long clash. Titans, led by Cronus, wielded primal might. Oceanus was vast waters, Hyperion blinding light. Their attacks shook Earth. The Olympians, led by Zeus, were young, their powers budding, but united by purpose and cunning. Zeus knew he couldn't win alone. He ventured to Tartarus, freeing Cyclopes and Hecatonchires. The Cyclopes, master smiths, forged Zeus's lightning, Poseidon's trident, and Hades' invisibility helm. Hecatonchires, hundred-handed giants, hurled boulders like living war machines. The war raged on Olympus's peaks and Earth's valleys. Zeus's bolts lit skies. Poseidon's trident triggered quakes and tsunamis. Hades sowed panic unseen. Hecatonchires' barrages gave Olympians an edge. Titans fought back fiercely. Atlas tried crushing their strength. Hyperion dazzled them. Cronus swung his sickle in fury, knowing he'd lose all. After 10 years, Zeus's alliance triumphed. Titans were chained in Tartarus, guarded by Hecatonchires behind fire and walls. The victory ushered a new era. Zeus ruled skies. Poseidon sees Hades the underworld. The Titanomachy isn't just war. It's progress, breaking chaos for order. Olympians brought laws, shaping harmony, proving change demands struggle. Even in victory, Olympians weren't free of strife. Their human flaws, jealousy, love, vengeance flared in the Trojan War, where gods split, steering mortal fates. It began with Eris, goddess of discord, uninvited to Peleus and Thetis' wedding. In revenge, she tossed a golden apple inscribed "To the fairest," igniting chaos. Athena, Hera, and Aphrodite vied for it. Trojan Prince Paris judged. Athena offered wisdom and war prowess, Hera power and riches, Aphrodite the love of Helen, Sparta's queen. Paris chose Aphrodite, enraging the others. Gods split. Athena and Hera backed Greeks, Aphrodite Trojans. Athena strategized for Greek leaders, inspiring victories with wit over brute force. Hera, scorned by Paris, fueled Greek zeal. Aphrodite shielded Paris, whisking him from danger and healing wounds, her aid often sparking chaos. Apollo too shaped the Trojan War, guarding Hector, Troy's hero, and guiding Paris's arrow to Achilles' heel, proof his light could be merciless. Poseidon, nursing a grudge over Troy's walls built without his tribute, aided Greeks, wrecking Trojan ships with storms. Battles became godly arenas. Athena outsmarted war god Ares' frenzy. Apollo clashed with Poseidon, light against wave. Zeus, striving for neutrality, struggled as heroes' fates hung on his word. Gods turned the war cosmic, guarding favorites, cursing foes, tilting battles. Troy's doom was woven by their hands. When their feuds risked balance, Zeus ordered them off the field, letting mortals end the saga. The war mirrored gods' flaws, love, rage, envy, entwining divine and human destinies. After war's din, let's explore peace. When mortals honored gods, not with blades but festivals and art. Greek celebrations were cultural pillars, blending faith and creativity. The Olympic Games for Zeus drew athletes to Olympia every 4 years. With prayers and sacrifices, contests like running, javelin, and pancration tested strength. Winners earned laurel crowns, Zeus's emblem, and eternal fame. Olympia's temple, with Phidias' Zeus statue, radiated might. Pantheon honored Athena, uniting Athens in art and wisdom. Every 4 years, great Pantheon spanned days. A grand procession carried a woven peplos, depicting Athena's giant slaying, to her gold and ivory statue in the Parthenon. Music, poetry, and races filled the fest, with olive oil amphorae as prizes, tying city to goddess. Dionysia for Dionysus were joy's peak. Rural Lesser Dionysia brought song and dance. Athens' great Dionysia birthed theatre. Dramatists like Sophocles staged tragedies and comedies at Dionysus' theatre, tying myth to catharsis. Revelers carried his statue, singing and drinking, celebrating life's pulse. These festivals, Olympics, Pantheon, Dionysia, embodied strength, wisdom, joy. They linked mortals to gods, fueling art and unity, their legacy echoing today. Beyond grand festivals, quieter rituals bound Greeks to gods. Sacrifices were religion's core, bridging mortal and divine. Animals, flawless bulls, sheep, goats were adorned, purified and slain after prayers. Blood-fed altars, meat split between gods' fires and human feasts. Offerings also included wine, bread, honey, oil. Zeus got white bulls, Demeter grain, Athena oil. Burned, their scent reached heavens, sealing bonds. Temples weren't just worship sites, but gods' homes. The Parthenon, Athena's abode, symbolized Athens' glory. Its golden statue received peplos amid prayers. Priests kept sanctuaries pure, hosting daily rites. Mortals left statuettes, jewels, amphorae as devotion's tokens. Rituals and sacrifices were woven into every Greek's life, from peasant to king. They let mortals feel the divine, express thanks, or seek protection. These acts weren't just duty, they united communities, strengthened bonds and passed reverence through generations. Sacrifices and temple rites showed no divide between daily life and the divine. Every offering, humble or grand, reminded all that mortals and gods shared one vast world. Greek religion profoundly shaped human history. Its myths, rites, and philosophy molded Greek life and laid foundations for culture, art and science influencing ages beyond. Even millennia later, its legacy endures, reminding us of its power. Greek myths still inspire artists, writers, musicians, filmmakers. From Sophocles' tragedies to modern novels, tales of gods and heroes captivate. Figures like wise Athena, mighty Zeus, or cunning Odysseus are archetypes echoing across cultures. The Olympic Games, reborn in the 19th century, carry Greece's spirit of competition and human potential. The flame, lit in Greece and carried worldwide, ties us to ancient Olympia's tradition. Dear friends, thank you for joining this thrilling journey through Greek religion. We've explored epic myths, gods' conflicts, sacred temples, and vibrant festivals uniting mortals and divinities. Greece left us a priceless legacy, alive in books, art, films, architecture. Each of us can find inspiration, wisdom, or joy in these tales. Thank you for being part of this story. I hope it was engaging and enriching. May Greek god's spirit spark your discoveries, creativity, and quest for harmony. Until next time, may Zeus grant clear skies, Athena wise choices, and Dionysus daily joy. Thank you.